Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, is President Trump ready to do mass arrest and also have military tribunals for some of those in the deep state? Well, reports are surfacing that that is exactly the case, and those reports are coming out of Natural News and InfoWars. Now, whether or not that is actually on the table, I'll leave that for you to decide, but I want to show you some of the information that we have. Check out the first report here. This is on naturalnews.com, put out by Mike Adams, September 23rd, and it's titled Emergency Report. Signed executive orders reveal Trump is planning mass arrest, military tribunals for deep state traitors like Comey, Clinton, and Obama. Now, he goes on to say that this is a national emergency special report, and he says that the U.S. has been operating under a state of declared war since September 21, considering what happened with September 11th. He also states another fact, that the U.S. has been operating under declared national emergency signed by Trump in December of 2017. Now, I'm going to actually show you that and prove to you that that is correct. But moving on, he makes this powerful statement. He says, I, Mike Adams, lay out the evidence for President Trump's plan to issue mass arrests of deep state traitors, then try them for treason under military tribunals. This is justified and lawful because the acts being committed against America by deep state traitors and acts of treason during a time of declared war, which, by the way, as he stated, we've been in since 2001. That's not gone away. It goes on. It is not a coincidence that President Trump has deliberately funded the Pentagon with its most massive budgets ever conceived. This is because the Pentagon has agreed to run the military assets of the deep state traitors under the direction of our Commander-in-Chief, President Trump. Now, he goes on to reference a couple of executive orders that are found in the Federal Register, and I want to take you straight to those sources so you can see the verbiage and what's actually in there, and then decide what's truly going on. So the first one here is Executive Order 13818, signed December 20th of 2017 by President Trump, and it's titled Blocking the Property of Persons Involved in Serious Human Rights Abuse or Corruption. Now, this goes on, as you see in this next section, that President Trump did declare a national state of emergency, which means we're still under that declaration of national emergency, and that was declared in 2017. So almost-ish a year ago, or coming near that. But additionally, it kind of puts a target on some of the activities of the deep state, specifically if you think Uranium One and that kind of thing. It's pointing out that corruption. But here's what it says verbatim. Any foreign person determined by the Secretary of Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, and it says, A, to be responsible for or complicit in or have directly or indirectly engaged in serious human rights abuse, to be current or former government officials or a person acting for on behalf of such an official who is responsible for or complicit in or has directly or indirectly engaged in, and it specifically references corruption, which is your Uranium One scandal, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts, or the extraction of natural resources or bribery, or the transfer or the facilitation of the transfer of proceeds of corruption. Again, I believe that could, while it doesn't name, obviously, Uranium One, it names corruption similar to that of Uranium One, which involves people like Obama, Hillary Clinton. You've also got other perpetrators there involved in the mix, like Comey and Mueller as well. But not only that, but you also have Obama's multi-billion dollar money laundering operation that he handed over nuclear weapons there, or nuclear weapon capabilities there to Iran. So we also have those kind of scandals referenced. Now, that said, I want to say this. Does that mean that President Trump is going to go arrest those in the deep state, like your Brennans and your Comeys and your McCabe's and all of them? No, I'm not saying that he would have done that back in December 2017. However, I am saying that I believe he does have the power to do that based off the verbiage in this particular executive order. He does have the power to go out there and do that if he can prove, which it's already been proven, some of the scandals and corruption that are around these people, which are obviously already underway. But he definitely has the power to do that from where he's at. But not only that, it references another federal register. I'm going to throw this one up on the screen. This one is Executive Order 13825, signed March 1st, 2018 by President Trump, and it's titled 2018 Amendments to the Manual for Court Martials, United States. Now, what this one essentially does, and it's a bit confusing in the verbiage, but it allows deep state traitors or any traitors, it doesn't reference deep state specifically, it just says traitors to be arrested by military police and subject to military trials run by the Pentagon, kind of bypassing the court systems there. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. But the truth is, here it is kind of in a nutshell. There is deep state running and pulling things from behind the scenes. JFK warned about this before he was assassinated and killed. Donald Trump is now another president revealing some of the corruption from within, some of the devious dealings. And look, if you take what they're doing with Judge Kavanaugh, for example, everything about the Supreme Court pick with his accuser, Ford, and everything that she's had to say has turned out to be completely bogus. All of her claims of even being at that party have been irrelevant, and nobody's really even admitted to going to that party. So she's fully discounted in a lot of her claims, and here they come with more accusers against Kavanaugh. Why? Because they're attempting to dethrone Trump and anything that he has to do with, because they know their time is limited. You know there is a deep state when there is this much pushback from members of Congress, from members at the FBI who are pushing, and CIA, and members of the deep state who are fighting for their lives, if you will. Not that their lives are in danger, but they're fighting for their freedoms, because jail is an option that is on the table for a lot of these people. And there's a lot of them. Loretta Lynch, we have Clinton, Obama, Lynch, McCabe, Brennan. I got to go a whole list here. And they're working with big tech groups such as Facebook, Twitter, and all your big tech giants in order to get this agenda passed. And so this is something that President Trump is standing against. He's standing for nationalism, that just simply meaning the love of our country, no Hitlerian thing behind it. Let's just push America and make America great, and that's it. It's that simple. And he doesn't want communist dictators ruling the world like China. The report I put out yesterday proves that organizations like Google and Apple are exactly attempting to put us under international global control, and it's sickening and disheartening. I guess the ultimate decision on what's going on is in your plate. What do you think's happening? I'd love to get your comments and thoughts on that below, and read about what's your take on all of that. I've told you my take, showed you the documentation, and obviously there's so much more going on that meets the eye. Now, in that report, Mike Adams actually gets into a little more detail on how he thinks we should combat this, and I can't say I'm all in for some of the things that they talk about, because some of the things are great. Let's establish an ID when you go vote. Let's bring our driver's license so we can make sure that American citizens are voting. That's great. Not only that, but the mass arrest. Let's get some of these people arrested, for crying out loud. I'm sick of them controlling the media, the social media, and everything like that. Let's have freedom once and for all and actually allow Americans to make their voices heard. I'm all for that. But there's things that he suggests on there that I'm kind of skeptical of, like having Trump declare a temporary martial law was one for me, and also controlling or using his power at the time to control the media, which he can do through an executive order. And also the social media. The problem is, you're going to have to close that gate again. If you go there, you have to close it, and it has to be temporarily and closed. Do we have enough faith that that will actually happen? I'm not sure. But what I will say is things can get hairy in the near future. So what I'm going to suggest you do is pray and keep your senators, supporting what's going on. And in the end, If you're going to fight for your freedom and stand against an organization like the deep state, something big has to happen. It's the way it works. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Don't forget to check out my partner at Virtual Shield, hidewithlisa.com. Again, it's a way to sideswipe some of what Google and everyone is attempting to gather that info on you. It's not right. It's not their right to gather info. So go to hidewithlisa.com now and get a VPN. Well, I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.